In the future, China will be dominant and America will be irrelevant. That is what we're seeing some experts say now.
Fuck New York City. I am moving to China tomorrow.
But this is how it go in China. Once you get hired by a good company, they're going to buy your ticket to get there. They're going to help you get all your visa, get everything settled.
So guys, I have a question for all of you guys. What are we paying taxes for in the United States? This is China at 8:30 at night in the park.
China is being America. And I want to just go ahead and say that, like, this isn't like some kind of anti-American, kind of video. I'm a realist at the end of the day, okay? So I want to point out what's going on, and I want y'all to see the reality of everything that's happening between China and America. While Americans are busy fighting culture wars on Twitter and social media, China is out here building freaking factories, ports, railroads, and freaking power grids. While the US argues for 10 years about one infrastructure bill, China connects entire regions with high-speed rail in literally like a few years. And this isn't about like the vibe of things either. This is about output. China literally dominates global manufacturing. They control key supply chains. Batteries, solar panels, rare earth minerals, electronics, all types of stuff. If China literally like sneezes, like the global economy like catches a cold, like China is literally in control of everything, bro. Everything that I have here right now it's more than likely made from China. And we kind of saw this already too. During COVID, America couldn't even produce enough basic medical supplies. We couldn't get barely masks, gloves, PPEs. And let's talk about the whole speed of everything too. If China decided that, hey, we're going electric, they will literally be flooding the world with EVs. If China decides that, hey, we're going green energy, they will literally dominate like the solar panel production. But in America, we will announce initiatives, form committees, we will hold hearings, and by the time anything really happens for us, China has already captured the market and put things in motion. And here's the brutal truth. America is good at inventing, yes, but China is good at executing at scale, which is why they are so many years ahead of us. And in the real world, execution beats ideas 100% of the time. And everyone loves to say that, oh, but America still leads in innovation. Okay, all right, I'll give you that. Cool. What's the point of inventing the future if another country mass produces it, exports it, and profits from it? This isn't the Cold War. This isn't tanks versus tanks. No, this is economic warfare. Supply chains, semiconductors, energy, logistics, manufacturing capacity, all that stuff. And right now, China is outplaying America in the non-cool things that actually determines who runs the global economy. And I can already hear the cope, right? So let's just go ahead and address it. People are going to say that China's economy is collapsing, China's population is shrinking, China's real estate market is literally a bubble, which, hey, may be true, right? But here's a problem with that argument. You don't need to be perfect to beat someone who's dysfunctional, okay? From the outside looking in, right? Like other countries are looking at America right now and they're seeing what America's going through and they're looking at how dysfunctional this country is and they're like, bro, like we can beat these guys easy. Like our own allies are going to other countries and teaming up with them. Like they're literally cutting ties with America. We are cooked. America can't even pass basic industrial policy without it becoming a partisan battlefield. We can't build high-speed rail. We can't build housing at scale. We can't even agree on what our long-term national strategy is. China literally has a third-year plan, and America can barely plan past the next election cycle. Like, this ain't about like loving China, and this isn't about being anti-American, right? It's about recognizing that the US is getting out-competed in areas that actually matter for power. And here's the part that no one wants to hear either. China is being America because America is asleep at the wheel. A country that can't build, can't plan, can't even agree on reality. Like, that's us. That is not how empires stay on top. If we don't relearn how to produce, build, and think long term very fast, then this debate won't even matter in 20 years, because by then the outcome will already be locked in. There is no way of coming back from it.
China's beating the United States in literally everything except for corruption in government, lying to their population, having politicians and business leaders in the Epstein files, and genociding Muslim populations. And I say this because not a single Muslim majority country on earth has confirmed that there's any evidence of a genocide in Xinjiang. In fact, they have all sent representatives there who have come back saying, actually, it looks like there's more mosques per capita than anywhere else I've ever been. They're not serving alcohol or pork in the restaurants. The Uyghur language is posted on all the signage along with Mandarin. And the only countries that keep carrying on about this alleged genocide of Uyghurs are the same that are denying and helping to fund and carry out the actual genocide that is occurring against the Palestinians in Gaza that has been confirmed by every single credible human rights organization on earth, as well as those same Muslim majority countries. That alleged Uyghur genocide was made up by a guy named Adrian Zenz and pushed to make you hate China because China is winning. They have a socialist market economy that has pulled 800 million people out of poverty. They are the only country on earth to do anything about poverty in any real way. And they execute corrupt politicians and billionaires. And those are the people running our country. And they want you to hate China.
China is more American than America. Watch this video.
In China, your family is entitled to a piece of land for free if you are a citizen living in a rural area. You can build your own house on it. No property tax, no HOA fees. That system is a big reason why China has around a 96% homeownership rate. One of my cousins tore down their old house and is rebuilding it right now. So in China, becoming homeless is actually very difficult.
HOA is one of the biggest fucking scams in America. These fuckers make living hard in America. Look at them. For example, I got this house back in Louisiana. We can't grow certain fucking plants. They feeding themselves off their land. This is how I'm feeling watching this shit. This is how I'm feeling because we supposed to be living an American dream the whole time we getting fucking scammed.
This is a warning to any Westerner visiting China. The first thing that's going to happen is you're going to question your reality of living in the States or living in the West. As in, what the hell are we getting in the West? As an American born and raised my whole entire life, I could not imagine living in a city that looks as beautiful as this. This is Shanghai. And here in Shanghai, I could leave my bags right here, unattended, probably for the whole day. It would still be there, or the police would probably pick it up for me, right? You could not do that probably anywhere in America. And we're paying 40%, 50% in taxes in America. The cities don't look like this. The streets aren't clean like this. Where is our money going to? So this is a warning to anybody visiting China. You're just gonna question, what the hell are you getting? What is the actual value that you're getting, right? Here in China, I feel like all the money goes back into the infrastructure and goes back into the city and the well-being and the education and all of that. Whereas in America, it just feels like a giant corporatocracy where the money is just going into a few select amount of people. And I'm not saying China is perfect, but you can feel that they have invested so much into the infrastructure, so much into the people, so much into the education, into technology. To any Americans, question what the value is you're getting in America. And question, can you get that value elsewhere?
When Americans come to China and they realize how affordable everything is across the board, they assume the worst. Americans really can't understand how the prices can be so low. And I don't really blame them, because if all you've ever known is crushing capitalist society, then you would think that the way to get cheap goods is from cheaper labor or cheaper materials. You're either exploiting someone to the point of slave labor, or you're stealing the materials from somewhere with imperialism. But that's the capitalist playbook, and there's actually more to the equation. And when you think about it, prices should be getting cheaper as technology is getting more efficient. But what's happening is the corporations are price gouging everybody because they own the technology. So it's getting cheaper for them to make, but it's costing us more, so they're making even more money. That's not the case in China because the technology isn't owned by the private sector. All of the essential technologies are owned by the public, or they're at least heavily regulated by the state. And the rapid development of this technology, that's how they keep prices so affordable as their country's developing so quickly. Actually, Karl Marx himself theorized about this. He said that in order to transition beyond capitalism, you have to develop your productive forces rapidly enough to outpace the capitalists. So the capitalist economy will be propelled by things like worker exploitation and slave labor, stealing resources and imperialism. The socialist economy is propelled by developing their productive forces. They have to make technology, make production more and more efficient until the majority of the production is under their control. That's why China has such a disproportionate amount of the world's factories. And that's why they're making so many of their factories fully automated with robots in them and everything. And that's why they're going to win the AI race, and they're going to win the robotics race, and they're going to win the electric vehicles race, and they're going to win the space race. And what other races are we in?
I'm an American who moved to China. I think that living conditions in China are much better than they are in the United States. Now, I started coming to China in 2016. At that time, you might have been able to say that the United States was better than China. But I don't think that's true anymore. When I say things like this, many people challenge me and say that I just see the big cities, or I don't know what rural life is like in China. I don't live in the city. I live in rural China. Traveled to other rural areas in China. But I grew up in rural America, and nothing has changed there. Life in rural China has gotten much, much, much better. In fact, life everywhere in China has gotten better. But if you ask an American, they'll tell you that life in America has gotten worse. China has invested in infrastructure to benefit everybody over the years. The United States has not done this. We don't even have high-speed rail. Most cities do not have bus service or subways. Roads are not safe enough to ride scooters. You know, I'm sure they exist, but I've yet to see a pothole in China. Potholes in America will break your car, and they never get fixed. I just got tired of the crumbling infrastructure.
I live in China. Guess how much it costs to rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, furnished, in an apartment like this? Go ahead, take a guess. Building like this, $450 US. I lived in Utah. I was paying $2,200 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. I also lived in New York City for a bit. We were paying $3,400 US for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. This is a nice neighborhood, beautiful walking trails, gated, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, furnished apartment, $450 a month. This is in like outside of Shanghai. It's called Nantong. It's about a tier 3, tier 2 between tier 4, depending on who you ask. That's another story. Yeah, living in China can be very affordable. We have everything we need here. It's beautiful, it's safe, delicious food. The people are amazing. The culture is rich and deep. So many interesting things to see and do. If you're interested in China, check my link in bio, and please like and follow to see more China content. Me and my family, we live here and we love it. I try to make content every day. Thanks.
I'm an American currently traveling in Shanghai, China, and let me tell you, more Americans need to come to China. This place is crazy. It's like Times Square on steroids, but there's no homeless people spitting at you, and it's so clean, and there's so many different shops and beautiful lights. Let me show you guys. Check this out. You can see the moon. Look at all these neon lights. So many people out just walking. It's like 10 p.m. at night here. You guys gotta come check out Shanghai. This is crazy, bro.
In the United States, I was miserable, broke, starving, hungry, depressed. And then I moved to China and my whole life changed overnight. I feel like I'm living in the future. I can't believe I ever didn't live in China. If you're thinking about moving to China, you should move to China. It'll be the best thing that ever happens to you, probably. Do you know how clean it is here? How safe? I can afford to live for the first time. I fall asleep stress-free. Move to China, bro. You're not going to regret it. People seem really happy when they move to China. Should I move to China? Nah, that's all propaganda. You don't want to pay attention to that. Propaganda for what? For China, obviously. China's not trying to recruit people to move there right now, though. It's actually like kind of hard to move there. You have to get a job like teaching English or something first. Why would they be doing propaganda for something they don't even really want right now? It's just like general propaganda to make you think China's cool. You don't think some people just think China's cool? No. How could China be cool? Everybody's poor there and dying. And they work 300-hour work weeks in sweatshops starting at the age of 3 years old. And also they're committing genocide constantly against everyone in super secret ways that we don't see. But if you Google drone footage from an unverified source on Facebook, there's a map, and I can draw on the map for you where the genocide is happening probably. So, yeah, those people are all lying. That's propaganda. Okay, you know everything you just said isn't true, right? What are you talking about? Of course it's true. Winnie the Pooh's illegal in China because he looks too much like Xi Jinping, the dictator. Okay, Winnie the Pooh is not illegal in China, and they're not doing secret genocides of everybody. That's like Donald Trump level conspiracy theory stuff. In reality, China's GDP, when adjusted for purchasing power parity, is higher than the United States. They have a 90% home ownership rate. They have a higher minimum legally allowed work age than the United States and a lower retirement age. They work on average a standard 40-hour work week, just like us, but they get a massive amount of legally required paid time off. In the United States, there's no legally required paid time off for comparison. And in general, they're doing a lot better than we are here. What are you talking about? Look at all this stuff I found on the internet that backs up what I'm saying. Yeah, this is propaganda. All this stuff you found on the internet saying this, like, look, if you look at the sources, they're all funded directly by our government. Like, didn't you see our government passed these bills authorizing like billions of dollars in anti-Chinese disinformation and misinformation campaigns over the past like decade plus? Like, you can literally see us authorizing propaganda spending against China in our congressional records. Like, this is the propaganda, not like 12 dudes on TikTok saying they moved there and like it. None of this is propaganda. What are you talking about? Look right there. Look. Who funds that source? Google it. Google where they get their funding from. What does it say? Okay, Department of Defense, Congress, and the National Endowment for Democracy. So, National Endowment for Democracy is the CIA's NGO. The other one is literally our State Department and our Congress. See, that's propaganda. We don't know that means it's fake. Okay, I just want to make sure I understand this. You have documented evidence that the people telling you China is secretly evil and bad are all being paid by the U.S. government to do that. And you have documented evidence that the U.S. government is paying lots of money towards these anti-China campaigns as part of an explicit propaganda campaign authorized by Congress in congressional records. But you think maybe that's still somehow the truth. And the random people you see on your phone just filming their daily lives after moving to China, they're the ones all secretly lying, even though the Chinese government is not even trying to convince people right now to move to China. Is that correct? Yes. Exactly. Because I'm very intelligent. So. Okay, yeah. I really think I need to start looking to move to China. Fast.
So I live in China, and this is what you can get for $140,000 if you buy a car. All right, so this is the Maestro. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but correct me in the comments. This is the Maestro S800. And let me tell you why this car competes with Maybach. All right, so before you even open the door, look at these luxury lights, star lights on the handle of the car. And not only that, it has a button right here where you can simply open the door. And first of all, look at this interior. Yes, it is as comfortable as it looks, y'all. But you guys, this car is definitely giving presidential luxury, literally everything. Like, look at this. You can recline the seats. It has the LED details. It literally has the lighting and everything as well, the star lighting or whatever that is. It literally has everything. And you guys, just look at this. Like, this looks so beautiful. Like, what? And not only is the steering wheel super luxurious with all this leather going on, but you can see the GPS and everything. You can literally see everything through the windshield. Say it, MJ. But the windshield literally tells you how fast you're going, where's your next turn, all of that. Like, this is crazy. And y'all, this car is literally a good experience for everybody in the car. Not just the passenger, not just the driver, not just the people in the back. Everybody gets a good experience when they step into this car. You also get a charging station. You get a remote toggle thing right here, and it controls the screen. You also get these fancy cup holders. Where's the other button? Oh, there it is. But yeah, you get these fancy cup holders that you can push down like that for your little drink. And of course, you have a lot of compartment space. Oh yeah, and let me show y'all the sunroof. Ooh, that is crazy. Don't mind the dust. This is just a display for the store. And mind you guys, this car is actually hybrid, so it takes gas and it's electric. But anyway, I know y'all think y'all saw it all, but check out this back seat. All right, so you click this button right here and it opens as well. But you guys, you get a remote on the left side. This controls the whole back seat of the car. And you get a remote on that side as well. But anyway, you guys, you can recline the seats as well. They literally go all the way down. The car talks to you. And the seats go all the way down. Like, isn't that crazy? But yeah, let's sit this seat right back on up. But anyway, you guys, this car literally can be controlled from this, and the remote even plays stars in the ceiling of the back seat. Like, what? That's definitely giving Rolls Royce. But yeah, y'all, let me get on the inside of this car because, ooh, this is so comfortable, y'all. Like, look at the floors. You can definitely kick off your shoes and get comfortable. And you can charge your phone. There is a fridge right here. Take a look at that with complimentary water. But just when you thought you saw it all, it actually allows you to close the door without laying a finger. Check this out. That is crazy. But just when you thought you saw it all, it actually has a whole cinema in here. Let me show y'all. But yeah, now we're gonna take the remote out and we are gonna turn on the cinema. And you just click this button and the cinema screen rolls out. Like, you have a projector in here and everything. It's insane. And boom, the projector comes on. And mind you, you can still control the projector screen with this remote as well. So all you have to do is click this button right here and watch this. You can literally control the full thing on this remote. Like, look at this. It's literally the same. Listen to this bass though.
中的人物最有魅力。老李，少林，你怎么来了？
But yeah, you guys, this car does so much more. I would show y'all everything, but y'all are gonna have to follow the tag pages down below if you want to see a full in-depth review. But this car is crazy. Comment down below what you guys think.
So I'm an American who just landed in China, and this is my first moment outside in China, and this is not what I thought China looked like. So I knew China was super futuristic and stuff, but guys, there is not a single piece of trash in the street. Also, when I checked into my hotel, I asked the front desk lady if I can walk outside at night here, if it was safe, and she just laughed at me and she said, yes, this is China. Coming onto like a main square here, I guess, I'm trying to find an Apple store. There's a McDonald's. That's a crazy, I've never seen a McDonald's like that in my life. Wow, this advertisement of this dog is like 3D kind of. Wow, and look at this. Look at the escalator. It's just glass, so you can watch people go upstairs. And is this that's a big Labubu, I think? I don't know what's going on. But just look at the architecture. These buildings, I don't know how they make these buildings. They're gigantic. And this is the exact city that Cyberpunk was made after. Over here, they have a KFC. And then there's a bunch of like little stores there. They have like a little street cleaner. That's what I'm saying. The streets are so clean. You don't see any trash.
I mean, I don't see any homeless people either. And then also the thing that I noticed is there are no other foreign tourists that I can see. I feel like the only person who is not Chinese here. And also there's a fair bit of police around. I don't know why, but there's definitely a noticeable amount. But these are my first thoughts in China.
So for some reason, it's just like hard for people to really comprehend what I'm saying. Like when you work in China, bro, they take care of everything. Like everything I'm telling y'all is 100% true. They take care of you. They give you a free flight there once you get hired. A free apartment, furnished. Everything comes included. You don't have to worry about anything. And no, they're not paying you no cheap salary. When you're going to work there as a foreigner, especially as an American, they're going to pay you comparable to what you get paid here. But the difference is you save a lot more. On top of the free flight there, the free, fully furnished apartment, and sometimes even free meals. Everything is so cheap out there. I'm talking about you don't even have to cook. $2-3 meals that you can buy for yourself. Best public transportation in the world by far. Subway costs less than $1 to take to most places around whatever city you in. Like these job opportunities are really out there offering all of these perks and even more if you got a family. Like they really look out for their employee. They know as an American, when you're traveling halfway across the world to work for them, you're expecting the best and they do their best to provide that for you. Like these opportunities really be clutch and like a fresh of breath air because as an American myself, experiencing the system and not really liking it, feeling like I'm bogged down and constrained, like being able to leave the country and finally save and still live a great lifestyle at the same time was like amazing to me. And Americans should be more open-minded to exploring these opportunities because it was absolutely life-changing for me. Like, people got their thoughts about, overseas and China in general, but like, as a 6'8" black man, I was extremely comfortable, safe, had no problems, saved my bread, did what I had to do, enjoyed my life, and then when I wanted to come back home to visit family, did that. Everything was smooth. I couldn't believe how seamless it was for me for going to a foreign country I've never been to before. Like I'm really telling y'all be surprised what y'all find out there because the life I lived there was way better than the one I lived in America, I'm telling you. And I know a lot of y'all can probably relate to, how stuff going on for y'all in America, but for me, that switch changed my life.
Every job offer that I received in China came with an apartment. It came with my round trip flight, food, transportation. And once I finish my contract with the company, I get a bonus. I can go home for the summer and still get paid. But at this point, I'm like, what's in America for me? You tell me I can go to Asia, stay in a nice apartment for free, get paid every month. Job offers food, transportation, a round trip ticket back home if I want to go and see my family, and a bonus. I might as well build my resume in Asia at this point. You think I'm gonna work in America for a company and barely get a raise? It's people that have to beg for raises and they've been at the company for 2-3 years, showing up every day on time. I can go to China as a foreigner and get treated like a king. Bro, the system is corrupt. I keep telling y'all this. The system is corrupt. You know it's corrupt and you're not going to do anything about it but complain? No, just leave. Just leave. Leave. That's how you change it. Certain people think voting is going to change it. No, you change it. Leave. That's the best thing to do. Just leave. Say, all right, I'm gone.
So guys, I have a question for all of you guys. What are we paying taxes for in the United States? This is China at 8:30 at night in the park. They have a full-on inflatable water park up there, a ton of vehicles the kids can drive around. Look at how many people are out. Just look at how many people are out. Here comes a kid driving his little car. Like lights on the bumper boats. This is crazy. So I'm here, I'm an American living in China. I did not even expect this to be going on at the park. I've been to this park many times and it feels like because kids are out of school for the summer, they have tons of things going on for kids. So you can see all these boats are just a kid and their parent out there hanging out on the little bumper car paddle boat things, but it looks like they have a motor, not like they're pedaling. He's got like a water gun on the front of it. This is outrageous. So anyways, guys, yeah, I don't know what we're paying taxes for in the United States. This is wild. Hopefully this was helpful and it shows you a side of China you wouldn't otherwise see or hear. Cheers.
I'm gonna tell y'all, this is how it go. It's simple. It sound unreal, but this is how it go in China. Once you get hired by a good company, They're gonna buy your ticket to get there. They're gonna help you get all your visa, get everything settled. The next thing they're gonna do, they're gonna ask you, do you have a family? Because if you have a family, that means they're gonna buy you a bigger apartment so your family can be comfortable. They're not gonna put you in no small apartment if you have a family of 2, 3, 4. Next, they're gonna buy the apartment. They're gonna show you videos and photos. Then you can negotiate your own salary. If it's a good company, you can get paid $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, up to $4,000 or $5,000 a month. This is with no apartment, no bills, no expenses. They cover everything. And I'm not Christian or anything, but if you want to go home for the holiday, they can pay for your round trip ticket to go home. I'm so serious. This is not a game. I can show y'all job offers. I can help y'all go to China. Go to my Instagram, follow me on Instagram, DM me on Instagram. You can also look at my highlights when I was in China recently. I just came back to America a couple months ago. China is where it's at. I'm telling you, go to China. You're not going to have any expenses. You're going to be able to save money. You're going to be next to Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam. I was like an hour 30 from Philippines. The flight was $150 round trip to the Philippines. I'm telling you, if you have the chance, get out of America. Get out of America. Bro, nobody's saving money here. Nobody can travel. Nobody can do what they want. You barely can take off work. Why would you want to live 20, 30, 40 years like that? You have no control over your life. Someone else is controlling you.
So I live in China, and moving to China was one of the worst things I have ever done in my life. In my life. Like, look at this. Huge living room, view of the highway, view of beautiful nature, mountains back there. Look at this. And just look at the kitchen. Look how big the kitchen is. The kitchen is huge. Like, what? And we just bought this refrigerator for only like $240. Somewhere around there. Amazingly beautiful refrigerator with a freezer at the bottom. And this place is like 4-bedroom, 3-bath. It's one of the worst decisions that we could have ever made. Horrible decision, don't do it. By the way, if you can't tell, I'm totally kidding. You should definitely consider moving abroad.
In the future, China will be dominant and America will be irrelevant. That is what we're seeing some experts say now. With even government think tanks saying the United States is simply not prepared for a war with China and it's already losing the Cold War. And many arguing that most of the blame falls on Trump and his administration, who are fundamentally unserious people who are more focused on owning the libs, even if it means destroying the country that they seek to rule, than they are on defeating China. Arguing, the tariffs were bad enough, but on top of that, they're cutting public research funding, gutting universities, and deporting talented researchers who can help America own the next century. They're also getting rid of programs for clean energy technology and semiconductor manufacturing, while also wiping out America's soft power across the globe. The American psyche has somehow become convinced that change is abnormal this past decade, and experts say that this is essentially giving China an advantage. With Noah Smith, for example, comparing the US to the Ming Dynasty and that they were the greatest nation on earth for 200 years, and then they became isolationist, stagnant, and backward-looking. While the Europeans were developing new technologies, China got rid of its ships and restricted foreign trade, believing itself to be better than everyone else. A story that may sound familiar to what's happening now. Though in the now, China's trajectory couldn't be more different than ours, right? They lead the US in 37 out of 44 advanced technologies. By 2030, China will account for 45% of the world's manufacturing due to their fully autonomous factories. And, when DeepSeek came out back in January, it was treated like a Sputnik moment, but Sputnik moments have been happening for a while now in fields like electric cars, robots, cancer treatments, supply chains, and clean energy. Right? You have many industry leaders basically screaming, how many CEOs have to come back from China saying they're building the future there before America wakes up? Among other things, China's due to build 10 nuclear power plants this year, making them the premier nuclear power in the world. Meanwhile, you have Congress pushing this budget that experts say will kill our nuclear power industry. And you've got experts on China like Kyle Chan writing, Mr. Trump doesn't even seem to grasp the scale of the threat posed by China. The characterization of China as a factory that makes cheap junk is wildly out of date, with them then going on to say that China's using a Manhattan Project style focus to achieve their dominance in technology. Right? And you have all of this as, China isn't 10 feet tall. They face their own struggles like an aging population, but we can't bank on that because that's happening to us too. Our population is aging just as fast, and actually without immigration, we're projected to age faster than them. And that's because 77% of the US population growth actually comes from immigration and births to immigrant families. And so you've got many saying, it's already hard to compete with a country that outnumbers you 4-1, but we're making it even harder by kicking people off our team. And, all of this is last year there was a bipartisan consensus on how to win, and that was doubling down on investing in research, supporting universities, forging economic ties across the globe, creating a welcoming and attractive conducive environment for the most talented people in the world and for people to invest their money. But Trump has literally, and I mean literally, like definitionally, done the complete opposite of that. The future can still be American, but we are rapidly running out of time to change that. Follow to stay in the loop.
China dominates the global economy because it embraces what America fears most, real labor. While the West chases branding and financial bubbles, China built an entire empire on actual production. And now their rise exposes a fatal flaw in white capitalism's disdain for work. For centuries, white economic elites have structured society around avoiding labor, while extracting it from others. Enslaved Africans built the global South's wealth, while European aristocrats and plantation owners positioned themselves as gentlemen, a tradition that frames manual labor as racially inferior. After slavery, Jim Crow and other exploitative labor laws kept Black and immigrant workers in underpaid production roles, while white capitalists rebranded themselves as managers, investors, and entrepreneurs. The Industrial Revolution amplified this divide. White industrialists like Carnegie and Rockefeller glorified themselves as self-made, while their fortunes rested on child labor, immigrant sweatshops, and violent union suppression. By the late 20th century, America began offshoring its labor to China, not just for cheap wages, but because whiteness had fully divorced itself from the stigma of manual labor. U.S. executives justified this by labeling manufactured jobs as low skill, a racially coded term, while pouring money into marketing, financing, and branding, industries that produce nothing tangible but generate massive profits through psychological manipulation. Meanwhile, China weaponizes America's labor aversion. They built the world's most efficient manufacturing base, not just by making goods, but by mastering supply chains, infrastructure, and real productivity. Now China controls 80% of global solar paneling, 70% of lithium refining, 50% of shipbuilding, while the U.S. economy relies on inflating stock value, branding hollow luxuries, and predatory gig work. Now, what is the result? China's GDP has grown 40 times since 1990. U.S. wages stagnate as labor is devalued and jobs are replaced with hustle culture. America's infrastructure crumbles while China builds high-speed railways, smart cities, and AI-driven factories. White capitalism's contempt for labor has left America with a failing economy, one where finance bros are richer than engineers, influencers out-earn factory workers, and branding is valued over building. China's dominance proves that real power comes from production, not propaganda. The U.S. can either confront its racist labor hierarchy or reinvest in real work, or watch as the next century belongs to those who aren't afraid to get their hands dirty.
America's fucked. I was gonna make a formal video about this, but I'm gonna keep it raw. We're fucked. And I ain't gonna lie, after watching that iShow Speed stream, China looked like the move, yo. I'm being so dead ass. And people are saying China's just racist and stuff. You're a black man, don't do it. I live in the South. I live in Texas specifically. Trust me, I deal with that shit every single day. Let me know in the comments, chat. Are we moving to China? Hey, who wants the room? Let's get a room together. Who wants to be my roommate? Let me know.
Bro, China is fucking cooking us, nigga. Niggas is just walking around with translator glasses, just casually, like, yo, you need to translate something, just casually.
2025 is the year that China defeated the United States ideologically. But to understand that, you have to understand what we've been told our entire lives about America. We've been told that America is the greatest country in the world because it has the greatest economic system that the world has ever known, capitalism. We're told that capitalism and competition breeds innovation, that only the best companies and only the best ideas survive. And now what we're seeing on the international stage, that is not the case. You see, the thing that we never talk about is what happens when millionaires and billionaires lose in that competition. What happens when they lose in that marketplace? What happens when Native Americans don't want to sell their land? What happens when black families have prime real estate in New York and Los Angeles and don't want to sell their property? See, that's when the rich run to the United States government to use their violence to take it anyway. What happens when workers get together and say that they collectively want to be paid more money? They run to the government to put down the strikes. You see, underneath the mask of capitalism is just a guy with a gun. We're seeing it in real time right now. American companies could not compete. They could not innovate. So they do what the rich have always done, and that's run to the United States government. And it's not even just TikTok. It's Chinese phones. It's Chinese cars. The wealthy American elite get a sandbox where they're allowed to play without competition. Because for them, competition isn't innovation, it's extinction.
I'm moving to China. Fuck New York City. I am moving to China tomorrow. So I go ahead and create my red note, right? And I'm thinking that this place is like North Korea. Like everybody's living in poverty, they're oppressed by their government. Oh my God, is all I have to say. The first thing I say, you guys really have to work more than one job just to survive and like have a home and food? What? Americans are showing their medical bills and the Chinese don't know what to do. They're like, what? Like they can't even believe it. They're like, ours is free. And when you go to the hospital, it's like $100, including treatment. And then people are showing their ambulance bills. Because our ambulances are thousands of dollars. Theirs is free. Free. And don't even get me started on the grocery hauls. These people go in these grocery haul. Like I've never even heard of that word here. Like we're just like, you know, eating crackers to survive here, to pay rent. Like they're hauling groceries that like would be worth like $1,000 here. But for them, it's like nothing. And it's all healthy, you know, high quality food. Hence why they're all skinny, gorgeous, and their skin is perfect. So I just don't have words for this. And their trains look like they came out of the year 3000. It literally looks like out of a frickin' movie. And there's no homeless people. And they're immaculate. And like extremely high speed. Like New York City subway. Like what the fuck are we doing here? Their cars and phones are 10 times more technologically advanced than ours. And affordable. And you know what's funny? We can't have them here. We're not allowed. They're banned. They're banned. And do not even look up Chinese kindergarten. Don't look it up. It'll make you so mad. I almost swan dove out my window when I saw Chinese kindergarten. Meanwhile, in our kindergarten, they can't even teach children, like, what's a boy and what's a girl. And they're teaching kids that they can identify as animals here in our country. So, I don't think we're the problem. I really just, I just don't think that we're the problem anymore. And this one's my favorite. They're all confirming that they don't have a social credit system like we've been told. But you know what we have over here is a credit score. We can barely do anything without it. So it's just almost like they're telling us that they have things that they don't, but we are the ones that actually have them. Interesting. So if you want to ruin your day and cry yourself to sleep every night and rethink your entire life and society and everything you've ever been told, go make a red note.
4 days on Red Note has me going through all the stages of grief. And right now, I think I'm sitting firmly in anger. And not at the Chinese or anything like that. They're fucking amazing. Their cities are amazing. Their people are amazing. Their lifestyle is amazing. Their fucking grocery bills are fucking amazingly small. I am fucking, dude, American exceptionalism is a lie. It's a fucking lie. This country, every day of our lives is just one big goddamn commercial to fucking leech every fucking dime out of our pockets and every fucking spare second you have out of your day. It is just nothing but a non-stop fucking hamster wheel. And as a goof, we go and protest by like, oh, you're gonna fucking take away TikTok because the fucking Chinese are gonna take our data? Well, we're gonna fucking mail our social security card directly to Xi's fucking office. You know, and then we start talking to these people and seeing how they live, and then actually having direct message conversations with these new friends that are curious and excited about us. And they're like, oh, you know, tell us about what it's like in America. No offense, but we hear you're lazy and all you do is hang out and go on vacations. And I'm like, vacation? What the fuck are you talking about? No, I mean, most people are working 2, maybe 3 jobs just to fucking make ends meet. And then, you know, we start talking about what things cost. And they're like, yeah, dude, I mean, I go out to eat. It costs me, you know, whatever the fuck their money is called, yuan, whatever it is. There's like RP, I don't know. And you do the math and you Google the exchange rate and you're like, hang on. That's like $1.90 for a meal, like a sit down $2 you spent on a fucking meal. Then, you know, you start scrolling through and you see their grocery haul and all this shit, and you can see the prices right there, and then do fucking Google with the exchange rate. Dude, we already knew we were getting fucked, but we're getting fucking extra slam fucked. No lube, no permission, no consent. And we've been told our whole lives that these are evil people that fucking hate us and they're backwards and they're slaves working in sweatshops and living in gulags, and you would hate it over there. Don't even bother going over there. And, you know, honestly, to a lot of us Americans, we're fucking ignorant to the point we've bought the fucking propaganda that was being sold to us our whole lives. I know hardly anyone that's ever even expressed interest in going to China with their rare vacation time and dollars. And then, all at once, tens of millions of us go over to this app as a lark, just to goof off. And we all got slapped in the face with I mean, dude, these skyscrapers in these cities, they're beautiful, they're clean. It looks like the goddamn future. I'm telling you, man, these people are living in the year 2325. I'm not even sure we're a first world country anymore if you compare apples to apples. I mean, this place is fucking amazing. No, I'm not. Look, I know a bunch of y'all are already fucking clutching your pearls and you already got a fucking thumb up your own asshole. Oh, but America's the best thing in the world. You're anti-patriotic. You must hate America. Fucking commie. No, I'm just fucking stating what it is. I've seen with my own eyes on a different platform that we're just not fucking living. Not like the way other places in the world are fucking living. And we've got to get the fuck over ourselves and the nonsense that we've been sold. Because this ain't it. This ain't fucking it. Man, something's got to change. It's got to change fast. I don't know how or who or where or when. Something has to change, and I think everybody can feel it in the fucking air. Everybody's about to fucking snap. People were on the verge, and who the fuck thought that Xiao Hongshu was gonna fucking show us our life is just one big shitty commercial on a hamster wheel. We're that Black Mirror episode where you live in that fucking pod and you look at the screen and you have to watch so many ads to get enough credits to eat. That's us. Just you.
Meanwhile, I live in China, and you live in a society that has zero gun crime. Zero gun crime, right? You can go out in a major city like Shanghai, 30 million people. Go out at 2 in the morning, you know, have a nice watch on, have cash on you, wear nice clothes. No one's going to bother you. You're not going to get jumped. You're not going to get robbed. You're not going to get shot. You know, there's a lot of amazing things about that. And that's kind of what I try to do. I try to say there's always nuances that you need to understand about China that are very different. And you won't understand that until you physically go there and experience it. But I have yet to meet somebody that has physically gone to China and not come away with a very different perception than what the media is presenting to you on a daily basis.
Days ago, I had a pretty heated discussion with one of my professors who I'm doing a research project with about the prospects that exist within this country for young people such as myself. And the fact that I've applied to research and doctoral programs abroad, and that I really don't see much of a future for myself here in the United States. He was pretty baffled by this. He didn't directly respond to it and oppose me in my position, but the response was evident. He was very opposed to it and felt a sense of shock and disbelief. He has centered his classroom and responsibilities around trying to save academia here in the United States and save it from the disarray and disabandonment that it's faced in the shock doctrine mindset of opposing academia and pushing the funds into the private sector and private markets. And my feelings, and I should say thinking of it, not sensation, because this is fact. The country is going into shambles, and the prospects for young people who have degrees and have all this debt, or I myself don't have debt, but the, brokenness and non-prospects of, breaking that social barrier and having your own home, having your own car, having your own, family. You're not going to have a family. You're not going to own anything. You're just going to be in this constant state of renting, be in this constant state of concern and paranoia about other people, leaping ahead of you and stealing what you don't have. And it's a feeling I don't want to have. And the fact of the matter is, I don't want to be in the situation of spending my limited time on this earth worrying about this stuff. If I have the ability to go abroad and, live the life that I've been thinking about, the life I want, it makes no sense to stay here and stay here in a sense of what? Thinking of honor or courage and a sense of responsibility. I don't really think I have responsibility to save a country that clearly put itself in this situation. I didn't choose to be in this situation. I didn't choose to be in a country that disregards its own citizens and has created mass media to indoctrinate people into far-right ideology, to indoctrinate people into racism, misogyny, and to have this top 1% who conglomerates all the wealth. It really looks like people in the United States don't have a worry about it, and they don't want to do anything about it. And I do want to do something about it. I do want to fix the situation, but I don't have the resources and tools as a singular person to do such a thing. And the fact of the matter is, it looks like we're going to be in this situation for a very, very, very long time. And despite the protests against ICE, despite the protests against Trump and his regime, is it going to go anywhere? Or is it just going to funnel back into the Democratic Party? And I say this from experience. I'm 21 years old. I witnessed the Bernie wave of 2016. Despite young, I was part of it and had optimism. I was also part of the, Greta Thunberg climate movement. I was also part of the movement for gun control, and I witnessed all these movements and ideas of change over the past 8 years funnel into nothing. It just disappears. It goes nowhere. And I'm sick and tired of dealing with this. I don't want to deal with this. I believe, I'm confident, I know, I'm certain that I can have more of a positive contribution elsewhere. I can have more of a positive contribution to solving climate change and addressing issues around racial and sexual injustice. I can have a more positive impact on social change as a whole abroad, and actually contribute to research, universities and institutions and government elsewhere, that in places that actually care, in places that can actually get stuff done. And this is just a fact. I have the resources, I have the ability to now make that change and go abroad to China, and I don't see any reason not to. And for all my life, there's been people pushing me away from this change, people pushing me into a funnel of pessimism and awareness that I should stay in the United States. And I'm making that bold move and telling these people, no, I'm not going to stay in the United States. I'm not going to suffer myself through this. I'm going to take the skills I have and the skills I'm continuing to develop as a human being who's ever growing and ever changing, and use them where I see it fit, and not stay and a dogmatic mindset that other people have put me into. So this is just my video of declaration and, self-awareness that this is a change I'm going to make in my life, and I'm making a commitment to it. So that's all.